Tired of being broke, you need to flip or buy and hold. Clocking in and out, your 9 to 5 is getting old. JD Boom and AC Cash, they known to get the bag. You can make your own schedule, know you liking that. Time to take the next step, take your money, invest. Know you just got that check, go sign up with JTech. Yeah.
Hey, Boom.
What's up, Cash?
Man, we've been doing our thing, but sometimes you gotta pause and talk about the realities that's going on in the world.
Yeah, man.
And in this situation, we're talking about somebody that was a mini mentor to us, Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels.
And we're gonna talk about him.
Yeah.
I know in some areas he's a controversial figure,
Very
but right now, we're gonna talk about 10 reasons why Kevin Samuels will be missed both in business and in relationships.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna cover that. You ready?
Let's go.
Pivot Point Investors, stick around. Hi, I'm AC Cash and this is
JD.
Boom! We're here on behalf of Pivot Point Investors, where we help the average investor grow his nest egg.
Yeah.
Hey, and today, you know, we come always with the excitement, but at the same time to kind of put a little pause and let's understand what's going on in the world.
A little somber today. I'll tell you, I can speak for both of us when I say we both believe Kevin Samuels was one of our mentors. And while we both understand he was not beloved by everybody,
For sure.
he definitely had a segment of the population that truly appreciated what he brought to the table without necessarily agreeing with 100% of what he put out, right?
Right. And that's with everybody. And it's a good teachable moment, even though some people will be rejoicing, some people will be mourning his loss.
Yeah.
And so we come to you saying, hey, sometimes you don't know what somebody will teach you until they're gone.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people that we've been talking to who really didn't understand his platform.
Yes.
And because we deal in business and all of us have relationships, we want to just let you understand and kind of have a conversation about why Kevin Samuels, in many respects, was both business-minded and relationship-minded, and let people kind of understand and kick those two situations with each other and kind of see where we stand. Yeah. So, hey, we're going to talk about this with Pivot Point Investors and say, man, what are they doing with that? Kevin Samuels, but they don't understand. Certain things in business are translated by your personal relationships.
Absolutely.
So if I was going to hire somebody for my company and I saw that their personal house was in disarray, it'll be kind of questionable. Oh, he's going to be great when he comes in the company, but he's terrible at his home life.
I mean, most people won't even really understand unless they watch his show every week like we did. He talked about relationship almost as much as he talked about money and business. Investments.
For sure.
You know, and even getting into like the first subject matter we're kind of going to go into, and I might as well just go into it right now.
Okay.
High value men.
High valued men. Hey, that term wasn't, he always stated, it has been around since before his time, but he brought it to the popular lexicon to say, hey,
like,
high value men.
I've never heard that term used in the way he used it.
Right.
Because I always associated that term, high value man, with the dudes just got a lot of money.
A lot of money.
But that was not it. That was not the only requirement or prerequisite to be considered high value.
That's right. And so we'll just cover, we're talking about 10 reasons why the guy, Kevin Samuels, will be missed in business and in relationships. And when we talk about high valued men, people say, well, what does that mean if it doesn't mean just money? What does that mean? And so,
hey, look, you make $10,000 monthly. Right, so that's the money value. But
so high value men have to make at least $10,000 a month in general. These aren't hard and fast rules. A guy making $9,800, I'm sure he can be considered high value man if all the other criteria fit.
But $10,000 a month, and you have at least had to make it $10,000 a month for 5 years straight.
5 years straight, because in the microwave society, as soon as you get a little bag,
I made it.
There you go. You got pandemic thousandaires today.
Oh man.
You know,
on, man.
as soon as Biden and the gang pulled back the money, now I'm back to a regular person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And additionally, you have to have acceptance by a group of other high-valued men. Now, it could be a bad term, but I'm saying the manosphere, where men talk among men, it's very important that other men see you with value. And sometimes, we can just say, oh, but he's got money, he don't need friends.
Right.
But he's an outsider, he's an outlier than the group. And it's important when you talk about high-valued person to say, hey, other people got to see you that way.
Absolutely.
That's just so important. And so as we go down this journey, while we're expressing our personal views, at the same time, it has made and we're men, there's a lot of women who felt the same way, but saw it to be somewhat out of school to be able to express that they respected this man. Yeah. So we just want to say, on both sides of the coin, we have to be able to look at something from a bird's eye view sometimes and take the us out of the situation.
Yes.
Okay.
With everything, you got to be able to chew the meat, spit out the bone.
Spit out.
Because again, he and I both will tell you, we didn't agree with everything he said,
no,
nor every way he said what he said, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what got him in trouble in the beginning. Mm-hmm. His tone was very, mm-hmm. But what's the substance? What was he trying to convey? What was the overall message? Right. And that's the thing that, really, we just got to kind of focus on, at least for me.
Right. And so another thing that categorized, as espoused by the views of Kevin Samuels, to be categorizing you as a high-valued man, in this case, is an accepted position by society. So an accepted prominent position. So if a guy was a hermit, he's in the back cave and he's making a bunch of money and people didn't respect him and no one in prominent society cared what he did, then he could say he was a high earner. But that's not a high valued man. So that's another component.
It's very important.
Yeah. And one more area that might have been that he espoused that was kind of important was the ability to be used by other men of value. Yeah. Other men, again, I used to talk about a diamond under a rock. If nobody ever sees it, it's really not, it doesn't matter if it's a diamond or not. It's worthless to society. And when someone else is able to come to you as a resource and say, hey, I need this kind of relationship over here, or I'm trying to get this licensing, or I'm trying to make this thing happen, and they can come to you, then you're showing your value to society.
Absolutely.
Now, how does that relate to this business community we're talking about, all this business stuff? Why does anybody care about that?
Well, it's a lot of businessmen that are high value, mm-hmm. that are able to help other businessmen, that are able to grow networks.
Right.
Able to pay tax base,
right.
And help society in mm-hmm. a number of different ways. Right.
So, and when we're talking about relationships and business, yes, a high-valued man is more sought after by the opposite sex.
Absolutely.
In relationships, but at the same time, the business community respects that person.
Yeah.
And the importance of Kevin Samuels bringing that to the forefront is because a lot of times men get caught up in, we're in the basement, we grinding, we're doing our thing, but we're not respected in society. We never come up to say, hey, how can other people benefit from what I'm learning? How can I get benefit from men of similar value?
That's right.
So all of that is super important, and he brought it to the front. That's why, another reason why we followed him, and at this point are somewhat saddened by the man's passing.
Yeah, I was definitely not somewhat for me. I'm saddened by the man's passing.
I was going to say somewhat surprised and saddened.
Very
but
surprised, very surprised.
Yeah.
Very surprised. And at the end, I'll tell you why.
Okay. Okay, so that's important. A high-valued man, he brought that out. Yeah. Another thing is he talked about your expectations from your mate.
Yeah.
So that's a man expecting it from a woman expecting it from a man.
Yeah. A
lot of times in relationships, we just jump into there and he needs to do this for me. She needs to do that for me. But the man said, hey, there's just as much as you expect something from them, they're expecting something from you.
Yeah.
It was like, wait a minute, who's doing that? Who's talking about that? Because it's always about me.
Right.
Because I'm the prize, man and woman. We're the prize. That's it.
Me first generation.
That's
so that's, forget what the other person needs.
Yeah.
So it's being intentional about, I'm in this relationship with this person, and let me try to be the best version of me for this person.
That's right. And the expectations that the
It's
other
the
person
same
has
thing.
from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because people would date, you say, how long you been dating? Oh, about 6 years. 6 years?
Yeah.
What's the intention? What's the expectation?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we just kind of feeling each other out. Well, that's fine and good. But if you want an outcome that's different than the understanding between you two, that's the problem. And he was good in hammering out, hey, you got to have expectations of the person just like they have expectations of you.
Absolutely.
And he brought that out better than anyone we've seen.
I've never seen it before, especially for women who they explain and suggest the outcome they want is marriage, but they've been in a 6, 7, 8, 10-year, cohabital.
That's right.
Whatever
yeah,
kind of
cohabitating.
relationship, common law marriage kind of
Yeah.
situation, and it's not like a real marriage. So,
that's right. And but at the same time, I'm saying I want this relationship, and all of that relates to business. It's always related back to business for us. Because if you're doing business with somebody and you have dissimilar goals, you can be going to the office every day, and every day both of you punching in, or the 4 of you, or 6, whatever the number is, you're punching in, but you have different expectations. Then sooner or later, those differences are going to show. And so in business, as in relationships, you can't just continue on without having clear guidelines of the expectations. And so in business, it happens every day. In relationships, we just say, oh, it ain't work out.
Right.
Oh, it ain't work out. We had differences.
Yeah.
And so it ends and there's no understanding of what happened.
Right. Right.
Kevin Samuels clarified a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Another big deal.
Yeah.
We're talking about Kevin Samuels. Hey, we missed the guy. It's shameful how he passed.
Yeah.
We were both like, is this real?
I texted this dude. I saw it, and I saw the stuff. I'm like, what? Kevin Samuels passed. I was like, hey, man, is this for real?
Right.
He was like, until it's on a reputable source,
right.
Verbatim.
Right.
I ain't believing it.
Right. Because we know. Yeah. Go ahead.
And it was like 11 p.m., and I left it at that, but something inside me said, man, I think this dude did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't feel well the entire night into the morning until it was confirmed.
Yeah.
And I felt even worse after, kind of what was explained, how his mother found out, and those kind of things.
Which was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Social media find out your child's past.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thing. And, we know we're going to make this into a 2-part video.
Yeah, we got
because it's something we're passionate about.
Yeah.
We know how it translates through other areas, because they would call them all sorts of things, gurus, relationships, when really he had a central theme, and we'll get to that, what his whole platform was about. But we want to be able to properly give it the time it deserves without rushing through it, and you don't really understand where we're coming from, because there will be others, because these types of things that he was trying to get society to understand are going to come up time and time again. And sometimes we don't know who the teacher will be and how the message will come, but you got to be open and receptive to receive it.
Absolutely.
And so in that regard, let's talk about his topic of 2 incomes being better than 1.
Hey, it makes a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I've been married before,
right.
And I can tell you 2 incomes, both high earners,
right?
Incredible lifestyle.
Yeah, it's better than 1.
Yeah.
But we hear so much in society, people talking about, I don't need nobody.
Yeah.
I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. I don't need nobody needs nobody except when you need them.
Yes.
Because that time will come up.
I can tell you, I've been sick for a week and a half. Or when I had a heart attack.
Oh, man.
And I was running too hard, doing too much.
Yeah.
And I had support, even though it was getting shaky at that point. But there was still somebody else there.
For sure.
To help take care of the children, help do. So, I mean, I know that marriage has incredible benefits.
Right.
That some of our viewers and friends may not have grown up in the environment or may not have experienced enough to believe marriage has enough benefits.
Right.
You know.
And it's a thing that's quantified.
Yeah.
You know, you could say, oh, well, I got a boo thing. I got somebody I'm kicking it with.
No.
But he's saying you're trying to go down the entire spectrum of life together. And so look more toward two being better than one. And
absolutely, because you don't even have the laws. Like the laws, taxes are associated and set up for married.
Right.
Children, married.
Right.
Like everything, married.
Right.
So,
hospitalization, who can come view.
Who can make the final decisions?
That's
like,
right, end of life
marriage.
decisions. Yeah.
Like, so if you don't have that together and you're just living together as husband and wife, but you're not husband and wife,
right.
When one person dies, you can't even have access to the bank account.
Oh.
What about the stocks?
Oh.
What about the real estate?
Oh, no.
Like,
all of those things are restricted based on marriage.
Yes.
And the importance is that he talked about defining that as part of what you're doing, because so many people want to get married, but the other person don't even know that's what you want. So I won't bring it up because you ain't bring it up.
Right.
You know, and those things are just, it just resonated so much with us because he'd ask that question. He'd say, well, do you expect, he'd ask the woman who he might have been interviewing at the time, do you expect to pay significant bills in the household after you're pregnant and now you're living together? Do you expect to pay significant bills?
Right.
Well, the easiest thing to do is say, oh yeah, I'm gonna kick in, I'm gonna chip in. But now, what percent would that be? Huh?
Yeah.
Who says what percent is gonna be? We just I give something, he gives something, we cool. No. If you want him to work and you're gonna chip in a little something, then listen, quantify how much that's gonna be.
Absolutely.
You know, 10%, 5%.
Yes.
Hey man, the train will leave you without a plan if you don't have that discussion.
That's right. But a thought popped in my mind when you were saying it.
Okay.
Cashmere.
Yes, sir.
Hey. Dress size.
Dress size. Okay.
That man, I've never seen a brother without any reservation ask a woman, height, dress size, like he just go down the list.
But that's mean, isn't it? That's terrible. That's mean,
brother.
Right?
That's a male
thing.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
It is a thing.
And so
that I could not verbally explain until I saw him do it.
Okay, and I'll tell you something. I've been married over 20 years. Ask the wife how many years.
He the done daughter.
Okay,
he the granddaddy.
Been married, and too many times we just think, oh, it doesn't matter what happens before marriage or after. They're good people. They're sweet. Oh, we can rock together. We can do all this. But there's certain things that if I was not that, my wife wouldn't have taken me.
Right.
And it's the same way. If she wasn't certain things, I don't accept her. And it doesn't mean, oh, but she's sweet. Oh, but they make a lot of money. Oh, but they're fine. They're not fine. All those things are good surface level things. But when the man says, Kevin Samuels would ask, dress size, where do you rank yourself? All that goes to how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you. Because, hey, if everybody in their mind is a 10 and nobody wants to go for a 7,
no, adjustable
6.
Like he also...
Right, clarified that, and we got to throw a clip so they understand that. If nobody knows what's what, but everybody wants the most, not based on any sort of reality, then you'll never get together. And when it comes to, you know, we talk stock, we talk real estate, we talk cryptos, and the expectations of what something is worth is different than ours. I don't care if you want Microsoft to be to the moon or Amazon, and if you don't believe Netflix is going down and all of that, there are quantities, there are realities in the world that we have to face.
What it's worth. At the time, it's worth that. Now, could you say something is undervalued or overvalued? Absolutely.
That's right.
But at that moment, it's worth whatever people will pay for.
That's right. And we'll get to that.
And that's one of those things he really taught us.
That's right. That's right.
But then we'll go over that in part 2.
Yeah. I mean, things are what they're valued. And again, there's people, you see so many people, sometimes you see a real estate listing and it's a crazy number. Yeah. And they're saying, well, somebody gonna pay it. Right. But somebody doesn't always pay it. Right. Sometimes it sits on the market, and the more it sits there 30 days, 90 days, 120, Ages. 200 days, 250. After a while, everybody that looks at that listing says something's wrong with that property. Something's wrong with it while all these people passed it up. Yeah. And so that relates to relationships. I know I don't have to explain that. You're on the market, tire kickers, nobody booed you up. Yeah. You ain't kicking with nobody in 6 years.
What's wrong with you?
Something's wrong with the property. Yeah. And that kind of clarity the man espouse daily. Yeah. Now, we can get into, he was too rough and he should have this. And he did run an entertainment show.
And it was shock value. It was shock jock-ish, especially in the beginning, more beyond Howard Stern with some stuff, right? Yeah. You know, I mean, it was literally like you're average at best. Like that one, that show shook me to my core because the stuff he would say to that lady, wow, she was not seeming to understand his points. Right. It was still beyond something I'd ever seen a man say to a woman. Let me say an educated man, a professional man. In those settings, I had never personally seen that. Now in the hood, I'm going to visit my family in Birmingham for the summer, like places in the hood in Atlanta. I've seen any number of, in the West End, you know, when I was going to college, I see any number, but you know.
Yeah. Hey.
Never somebody professional.
That's right. And so that shock value is what brought viewers. And no one can eat your cooking in a restaurant if you can't get them to the door. So he got them to the door. The man ended, I mean, his life passed at 1.4 million viewers on YouTube. So people were engaged in it. Even if they were detractors, they still were interested in the conversation.
Absolutely.
Hey, we're going to keep it moving. A fourth point that Kevin Samuels brought to us that we saw every day, you know, day and night, is from the perspective of a man. We're talking about number 4 of the 10 things that will be missed in business and relationships when we're talking about Kevin Samuels. The man said the cost to raise children is a significant thing to men.
It is.
Now, we know all of our viewers have fantastic children.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't cry unless it was on cue. Nobody would throw anything.
Ever.
Baby daddy is always the new love of the child's life. He'll listen to everything the stepfather says.
Yes. Doesn't steal anything, doesn't take anything.
Never take a thing. No, it's perfect. Yeah. But now and then, people outside of our viewers, you know, other people's kids.
Over there.
They are hell on wheels.
Yeah.
You have to deal with them. And every guy knows walking into somebody else's house, either the man or a house that they had together, is a tough feat.
It is.
You're stepping into somebody else's shoes. It's like a plumber fixing another person's mess.
Yeah.
They don't like to do it. They say, let's rip out all the plumbing and start over. And that's how he related when it came to raising somebody else's children.
Yeah, because it really is two things. It's either death or separation of some sort, whether it's divorce, whether it's you just couldn't get along and never got married. So either situation, I mean, it's rough to be trying to come in behind somebody else.
Right. And the important part is it costs money.
Absolutely.
Now, men believe in their pocket.
Yeah.
You know, our pockets are, one of the reggae says, come for my money. No, my pocket's dear to me. So my pocket's dear.
That's right.
Because, you know, women may be valued for beauty and some of the things they can bring in that sense. A man is
historically valued. That is what it is.
It is,
valued for beauty.
Right. And he made that very clear.
Yes.
And then by the value you bring to the table.
Yes.
You know, I heard Chris Rock say, you know, a man is the only thing that's valued conditionally. children, women, dogs.
Yes.
You love them unconditionally.
That's right.
Oh, I just love him. I don't care. He ripped through my favorite shirt, clothes, sneakers, but I love that dog. Oh, the baby just pooped, but look how cute he is. You know, oh, that girl, yeah, she burned my car, burned my house, but you know I love that girl. I can't do nothing without her. A guy, if he has no bread, if he doesn't bring something to the table, the man has no value in society.
I've literally heard women say, I hate a sorry man.
See, you know, he got no value. What am I gonna do with him? I can't use him. And he illuminated that fact and made it very clear that not against the women, but against the men, that you better go out and make some value of yourself. Because if you don't, nobody wants you.
At all.
That was clearly articulated. And before that, it's been vague. You know, go and feel yourself and work on it and do all that. Kevin Samuels would say, if you don't have any value as a man, you shouldn't be dating. You're just not ready to date.
You should be working on yourself, self-improvement, self-development, and stacking your bread.
And that was very clear. And so that kind of conversation wasn't really out there in the world. It wasn't out there in an articulate fashion.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Hey, that's number 4. That's number 4. And again, we're going to have to break this into 2 parts. And I'm sure, you know, wherever the content, the people out there are going to subscribe.
Definitely subscribe.
And you can share it with a friend. We want you to be able to share the information because if it's of value to you, you should be able to share it. If you're not sharing it, then no sharing is not caring.
It's not.
It's not caring. You caring? Do you care?
I hope so.
You think so?
Kevin Samuels was all about facts, data, statistics.
Facts, data,
I'm a numbers guy, so that's
and
why
I am
his
also.
Information resonated with me because he continuously said facts, data, statistics.
That's right.
And whether it was CDC, whether it was census data, wherever he got it from, quasi-governmental source, it was like a real source.
That you can look up and verify for yourself. And that's just super important. And since we're at the halfway point, we're going to add this last halfway before we take the break. We're going to say his 5th item of importance that Kevin Samuels brought to the table, brought to the manosphere, as well as the general atmosphere in these conversations, is that things of value come with expectations. They come with expectations. You know, men like to quantify. All the time, you're going to hear, when you look at the sports analogies, we always do, how many catches did the man have? How can he be the GOAT if he's 5th in rebounds? How can he be the GOAT if he had this many interceptions? All day, you know, in the playoffs and the basketball, it's quantity, it's the facts, it's the data, it's the statistics that gets the man paid and the woman. So it's not just a one-sided thing. So, but in order for you to get that value, there's expectations associated with it.
Nothing is free.
For sure,
Nothing is free.
And so a lot of times we get caught up in personalities, we miss the message. A lot of times we just say, well, I like it. That's why. But no, you can't get the flashy car without paying the flashy high price.
You're going to pay. It costs one way or the other. It costs if you lied to get PPP money. And you got a big bank and you went and bought all that stuff. There's a whole bunch of dudes in jail or going to jail right now. So it costs. It also costs if you stay up all night perfecting your craft to be able to do it for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and then you make a boatload of cash. You had to sacrifice certain things. So it's going to cost you one way or the other.
And the expectations behind it. So when we talk about men and women, that's on the personal front. You know, the guy is making 6 figures. He's all these beautiful things you want him to be. But then, what do you have to offer? Oh, well, I'm a nice person and I'm pretty. That can't be the value you give back. He was clear to say, okay, what else? If everybody else has that, what else are you bringing to the table? And to hear women, in this case, say, well, you know, I'm special. I'm the prize. We've always taught that we are the prize. But if everybody's the prize, then the man should have no expectations of you. Nothing different. Don't worry about cooking. Don't worry about social graces.
Don't worry about your dress size. Don't worry about your physical appearance.
Doesn't matter, because I'm so nice.
You know?
And so that comes off mean in every other conversation before the man brought it to the table to say, hey, you know, you should understand that the same way you expect things from him, he expects things from you.
Absolutely.
That's an even swap.
It's not a swindle.
There you go. I was wondering if you were ready, my man. It's an even trade.
Yeah.
And because we talk about it, doesn't make it mean. It just makes it an espoused reality. That reality is already there.
It's a fact. Because whether he says it to you or he ghosts you after the first date or 10 dates, why did he ghost you?
That's right. There's reasons behind it. Now, he'd say, go back and talk to your ex-person and see why they left. Who wants to do that? That's not a fun exercise. No. Hey, you were a jerk because. Hey, I didn't like you, burned everything. Hey, you were broke, dude. Hey, you couldn't dress. And my friends didn't like you. I didn't like your taste in whatever, watches and cars or whatever. Those things are there. Nobody wants to go and look behind the curtain to see what's right.
Man, the one that really gets the women is I dated him for 4 years. He dated her for 8 months and he got married to her. Why?
And that didn't happen in a bubble.
No.
There were conditions that if you would have went down the steps and said, what do I bring to the table? What does he expect from me in this situation? Then it wouldn't have been 8 years. It might have been 1 year.
Or what has he communicated to me that I'm fighting?
That's right.
You know, that she was just agreeable with.
That's right. Those things the man brought to light. And, you know, as we talk about the passing of Kevin Samuels and 5 so far of the 10 things that we'll miss about the man, it's that, bringing things to light that before we kind of skirted around. We kind of, oh, well, I'm sure he'll take me because, or I'm sure he thinks I'm the prize, even though.
Yeah, I gained 50 pounds, but it's okay.
Got 6 kids from 6 baby moms.
I'm the same as I was.
That's right. I'm arguable. I want to argue all day, all night. It doesn't matter.
I'm so special. Okay.
Well,
like, who wants that? I don't want that.
For sure.
And I told this man, and I'm gonna say it now, and I'm gonna say it again after part 2. I personally just want to thank Kevin Samuels' parents for birthing him. It mattered he was born in this world. I mean, is anyone perfect? No. Was he perfect? No. Absolutely not.
No.
But he was the first man, and both of my parents are still married. They're both in their 70s. I grew up with my dad. My dad was not verbose, and he was not explanatory like Kevin Samuels. So I didn't get the benefit of some of that hardcore mentoring and tutelage like he's giving out. And so some of the things, just the 5 facts, high value man, I didn't know I was worth what I was worth at my highest earning potential, right? Expectations from him, just 2 incomes better than 1. Like some of these things make sense, but some of them, like really the way he went down into them is beyond anything as a 45-year-old man I had heard before in my life. So I just want to thank God for blessing us with Kevin Samuels, allowing us to spend the time with him, 56 years he had on the earth. And, you know, hopefully brothers like me and you can continue his legacy in a kind of gentler way, you know, and just, but,
hey,
you know spread the information.
For sure, in all areas, you know, I always talk about, I had a band director, high school, and he'd say, Cox, because I'd be late, I'd be running behind. Cox, you know, the difference between a diamond and a piece of coal is a little bit of pressure, son. A little bit of pressure. I got to put some more pressure on you. Put some pressure. Shout out to Mr. Rose, man, we miss you, we love you. Pressure to bring out the best in you. So if the man was talking about, hey, it's okay, dress size don't matter. Hey, dude, you can make what you want. Sooner or later, you'll get it together. Hey, you don't have to do things in the house, and I'm sure she'll have enough kids, and you'll kind of want to pay for them, and it'll work out. Then there will be no change.
That's right.
And he looked at the situation in society saying, since 1970, in particular in black families, we were getting married at a higher rate than our other societies. And then something changed. It's not working, and the divide is getting wider to where other cultures are getting married before African American coaches. So what's the change? And he brought it saying, now we got to put some pressure on it because everything we've been doing isn't working.
That's right.
And so sometimes that change doesn't come at, you threw something, a fabric softener on it. Sometimes you got to put real pressure on it to make something change.
No, he was a head buster when he first came out. Like, that's just
So
kind of
head buster?
He was a head buster, man. And then he brought it down and he made him became more docile and controllable. But he was a head buster when he came out.
Yeah. And so I can't count how many discussions I've had with women who say, "Oh, you rock with him?" I'm like, yeah, I rock with him.
Same
you know,
no
matter what you rock with, it doesn't mean you agree with everything they do or the manner that they do it.
80%. So 70% when he first came out is where I'm at with him. 80% once he softened a little bit, you know, and that's just.
And it took him several episodes before he came into the fold.
Oh, this was the one who introduced me to it because I fought it, man. I was like, man, this dude, like.
And I'm gonna tell you, my wife introduced me to Kevin Samuels online. It was the Average at Best episode. And she said, what do you think about this? Now, as an experienced married man, I know when they throw out that bone, what do you think? They're really trying to get into what you're thinking and to find out how to posture based on that. But I gave her, you know, initial reading on it, and then we went further into discussion, and I've since hipped dozens of men to the platform and women who equally accepted or rejected what he was saying, but all of them would agree that he had conversations that needed to be had.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay. Yeah. So, hey, man, we've been doing this thing. We've been talking about, you know, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, and how he'll be missed in business and in relationships. And hey, we did five things that resonate with us. And hey, we're going to come part 2 to talk about the second half of this. Why, you know, the guy will be missed. He's made his mark. The people that know him, the people that are friends with him, family, they should be proud of the legacy he's left, even if there is no one who has walked this earth that everybody agreed with him. You know, we had a savior that was hated and crucified.
Absolutely.
And so that's not in comparison. That's just to say that there is no one who is above reproach that everyone would agree with.
That's right.
Okay, that's fair enough?
It is fair.
Okay, hey, Pivot Point Investors. We're going to put a pause button on this right now, and we'll continue with this conversation about, hey, our mentor, Kevin Samuels, and how he'll be missed.
True legend.
Pivot Point Investors. I'm AC Cash. This is
JD.
Talking about a mentor that comes through the side door. He doesn't come with the facts,
what, facts, data, statistics.
Oh,
can't mess that up. That's my thing. Facts, data, statistics. Yeah.
Through strictly a business angle, but in a life angle, in a relationship angle, and it all relates to business. Pivot Point Investors. Stick around.